This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, October the 30th of 2024. We are 6 days away from Election Day. Currently in downtown Wausau, mild, very, very mild start here on this Wednesday. I think, again, I shouldn't say anything because the way things have gone, I could be wrong. But I seriously doubt we will have another day when we're able to walk to work without a jacket, have a temperature in the upper 60s before maybe next May. But you never know. Right now, cloudy skies in downtown Wausau, but again, you can wear the short sleeve shirt right now. Temperature stands at 68 degrees. I am Chad Holmes. It is the Hump Day Wednesday edition of the Chad Holmes Show here on 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Please note that we have changed the address of the website. It's always been bullfallsradio.com, but now it is WXCO.FM. Note that. Go to WXCO.FM to get to our website. I will share a secret with you because if I'm nothing, I want to be completely open and honest. If you do put in bullfallsradio.com, it will still redirect you to WXCO.FM. But let's start to get into the new pattern here because we've made a few changes. We're going to have a new logo coming out pretty soon as well. But if you want to listen live on your computer, go to WXCO.FM, not .com, but .fm, WXCO.FM. You can also tune in by going to your mobile devices by searching WXCO, and also on the Civic Media app. So there's plenty of different ways to tune in each and every morning. Also, we would love you to be part of the show. If you would like, you can actually see our studio cam by going to our video stream, by going to Facebook.com. Then click on our video stream. Be able to add your questions or comments right there on that thread. You can also call or text us by giving us a ring. The number is the same, 715-382-9297. That's 715-382-9297. And again, call or text. If you call, you'll be able to hear the very pleasant voice of one Ian Welsh. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
Well, we are 6 days away from Election Day. We are 1 day away from Halloween, and it's 68 degrees outside at 8 o'clock in the morning.
There's a lot of stuff happening.
I mean, it's just weird. It's weird to walk in this morning not having a jacket on. Tomorrow, going to have a jacket, may have to have an umbrella as well. We're going to find out about the weather with Brittney Merlot coming up here in just a few minutes. Brittney joins us every weekday morning at 8:21. We'll see how warm it's going to be. When will that temperature start to dip? And we'll get all the details for the trick-or-treaters tomorrow night as well. So that's Brittney Merlot coming up in about 10 minutes or so. Also coming up a little bit later on in the show, we'll talk to national security expert Joel Rubin. He's a guy that you may have seen on national cable television talking about foreign policy. And we're going to talk about the candidates and the issues in the final day of the campaign with Joel Rubin coming up at 9:34 this morning as well. Also coming up here in this hour, I stopped by my mailbox again. We're going to take a peek at the flyers that we are getting here in the final days of the campaign. So, got some Tammy Baldwin here. Got some Pat Snyder. Got some Kamala Harris. When I say the names, they are not positive. These are negatives. We have Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. We have Yi Lang Zhang. We have Yi Lang Zhang. We have Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. We have Kamala Harris, and we got Pat Snyder. Yeah, I mean, it was a full mailbox. So we're going to pay a visit to Chad's mailbox coming up a little bit later on in this hour as well. Also want to remind folks that being Wednesday, that means not only am I on here with Ian from 8 until 10 a.m. I will be back coming up later on this evening, as we do on Wednesday nights during the fall and winter high school sports season, for the Big High School Sports Show presented by K5 Construction here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Jason Foster and myself, and Ian will be pushing the buttons, of course, on the other side of the glass.
Yes, I will.
But Jason Foster, the former Wausau West High School head football coach, will join me. We will recap the Level 1 playoff action in high school football from last week. We will take a look at the Level 2 matchups coming up on Friday night. Plus, we will have a pair of special guests. We'll be joined by Jason Wadzinski, the head football coach at Merrill, and they had a big turnaround this year. They had no regular season wins a year ago. This year made the playoffs, and they had a thriller on Friday of last week in Onalaska. Came up just short, but it was still an outstanding season for Jason Wadzinski and the Merrill Blue Jays. We'll talk to the Merrill head coach at 6:25 tonight. And then at 7:06, we will talk to multi-sport superstar Jesse Knapp-Gezik of Wausau East. He is multi-sport guy, plays in the fall, the winter, and the spring. He had himself an incredible final football game on Friday last week as Wausau East fell to Fox Valley Lutheran 44-41, but Knapp-Gezik had 10 catches. He had a kickoff return for a touchdown. He had 12 tackles. He was doing it all for East, and now he'll get set for a basketball campaign where he's one of the top performers for the Wausau East basketball team that has high expectations here for the upcoming winter campaign. So Jesse Knapp-Gezik from Wausau East Senior will be our student-athlete guest tonight at 7:06. So the Big High School Sports Show presented by K5 Construction coming up here on 98.9 WXCO. All right, we had our introduction. Oh, and I forgot to mention, of course, at the end of the show, we'll have our daily history lesson. We will have a look at some famous events that occurred on this date in history, some celebrity birthdays, days to be acknowledged here on the 30th of October, and our number for the day quiz. As every day, we always wrap it up. The last thing we do every day is give Ian Welsh the number for the day quiz. He gets 3 choices. Based on the math, he should get 33% correct. If he's above 33% for the week, it's a passing week. If he's below 33%, it's a failure. But if he's got more right than wrong, then it's a true winning week. And, of course, his record is 4 out of 5, and we're still striving for that perfect 5 out of 5 week. So we'll look forward to having that at the end of the show. What are you so far this week?
I am a 1 win and 1 loss.
That is right. 1-1. So today a chance to clinch a passing week, to move a step closer towards a winning week. So the earlier the better. You don't want to wait till the end of the week to get over the hump.
Definitely, I don't want to wait.
So very good indeed. So we'll have that with Ian coming up. I wanted to mention here real early in the show some breaking news as the United States economy posts another solid report in terms of gross domestic product. And I find it interesting. CNBC is one of the business channels. And there's Fox Business and CNBC. The thing about Fox Business and CNBC, they're both exceptionally conservative networks. And Germany also announced their numbers today. And Germany had inflation surge in their latest report.
Okay.
They also narrowly skirt a technical recession as well. The United States economy, which for years since the end of the pandemic, folks on CNBC, folks on Fox Business have been saying, "Well, we're going to have a recession here at some point. We're going to have a recession. We're going to have a recession." The policies of the Biden administration have been just stellar when it's come to trying to get through the post-recession era without having either the economy too hot or have it drop into recession. And much of the reason is the way that the Infrastructure Act was set up in terms of the rollout of the funding to update bridges and roads and everything else within the infrastructure of the United States. It was not done in a way to just dump all that money in at the beginning and then see what happens, and often that would lead to, again, inflation and also to maybe a bump, but then a recession after that. They've actually doled out that money very, very smartly, and also the Inflation Reduction Act in terms of what that has been able to add to the economy. So the economy posted a 2.8% increase in the GDP, the gross domestic product, which is a measure of all the goods and services produced during the 3-month period from July through September. And that is, again, another very solid report. Again, that is not a small increase of the GDP, and it's not so high where the Federal Reserve is going to be worried again about manipulating interest rates in order to avoid more inflation. It's a very solid report. But the headline on CNBC.com that came out, basically 40 minutes ago. The headline, U.S. economy grew at a 2.8% pace in the third quarter, less than expected. And then the first line, the U.S. economy posted another solid, though slightly disappointing period of growth in the third quarter, propelled higher by strong consumer spending that has defied expectations for a slowdown. As we go into the final days of this election cycle, there are records out there. And I think the economic record of the current administration has been not just stellar, but pretty amazing. The idea of getting through a global pandemic, and as well as this country has compared to others. There was a chart I saw just a few days ago talking about the growth and the inflation, because inflation was not an American issue, despite what the Republicans are trying to tell you. Americans had to deal with inflation, as did every other country in the world. But on this chart, it also showed, for the great Western democracies, the increase in the GDP, the economic growth, and the United States was number one in that post-pandemic. So again, good news. Another growth quarter for the U.S. economy, led by the president and the vice president. We'll take a look at the weather coming up next. The time is 8:19 here on 98.9 WXCO.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
And welcome back, Chad Home Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM. Again, a new URL address for the website, WXCO.FM. You can also join us by going to your mobile devices or Alexa by searching WXCO on the Civic Media app, and also, again, by going to Facebook.com, clicking on the link for our video stream as well. It is the 30th day of October, and it is a warm one. You're able to see a guy on a bike who just went past our studio not wearing a shirt. So it's warm out there. In fact, it's been in the upper 60s all morning long. Haven't needed a jacket. Again, for this time of year, pretty amazing stuff. But it's going to change as the kids get ready to go trick-or-treating tomorrow night. To find out all the details on the weather forecast, we're joined again by our meteorologist, Brittney Merlot. And Brittney, good morning.
Good morning. That is some Wisconsin stuff that you just said.
I know. That's
Guy
right.
riding around on a bike with no shirt.
Took a peek out there, and it's like just in front of the station. It's like, holy cow, no shirt. No shirt, no shoes. Yeah, no shirt, no shoes, no service. You're not coming in here without a shirt, buddy. But no.
Nope.
I mean, for October the 30th, and we had obviously a very warm start to the work week. But the overnight temperatures, what's kept the temperatures so high in the overnight for this morning?
There's been a couple of reasons why we've been so warm in the morning. One, record high temperatures, right? You can't plummet that far when you're hitting 80-degree highs. Merrill, oh my gosh, what did they hit yesterday? I think it was 78 degrees was their high temperature, breaking records. Wisconsin Rapids was at 80 degrees. And not far away from us, I think Stevens Point hit 81. So breaking records in the afternoon. Cloud cover out there kind of acts as a blanket. Clouds are blankets, right? So when it's clear, the heat from the day can escape back to the atmosphere. When there's clouds, it's blocked, right? So we're keeping all of that heat from the day in technically as temperatures are cooling, the sun is setting, and we didn't get very far. We only dropped to the upper 60s across most of the state. So that again is breaking records for record warm overnight lows. So we broke that this morning here into Wausau statewide, and then temperatures are just kind of hovering there into those low to mid 70s throughout the day today before they start to plummet by tomorrow. So we'll take a little drop tonight. It won't be too significant. But by the tomorrow afternoon and into those evening hours, we are going to be feeling some low 40s while we're trying to get outside and do some trick-or-treating. And the winds are going to be whipping up to 40 miles per hour. Now, it's going to be windy today, too. It's going to be out of the south, 40-mile-per-hour winds, warming us, keeping us warm. But tomorrow, it's going to be out of the north. So it's going to be a blustery, cut-right-through-you kind of wind. And it's really going to pull those temperatures down, actually below freezing by overnight tomorrow night. So Friday morning is going to be a frosty, crisp jolt back to reality. But even Halloween, it's spooky weather because we've got the heavy rain rolling in today. We're going to see some showers and storms sparking up after lunch. It's going to continue to soak us through the evening into the overnight. We could see some flooding with this because we're looking at 1 to 2 inches of rainfall on top of our drought conditions. So the grass is going to be soggy as you're walking out there. So make sure whatever you're dressing up as, you got some boots on as you're trudging through the soggy grass. That is going to be starting to freeze over through the overnight, which is just two crazy temperature extremes. And of course, it's on Halloween. Not to mention the rain flips over to a wintry mix and snow potentially just north of us, where they're looking at some accumulations into like Bayfield, Ashland, Douglas counties. But even Tomahawk, I mean, you're looking at a forecast of an inch or two.
That ain't too far away.
No.
That's a little. You mentioned all the rain and then the freeze. In terms of the drought, I mean, if we get all this rain, can there be too much rain to actually affect the drought conditions? And if it freezes it up, does that mean it won't help in the way that we would hope it would help in terms of the drought conditions as well?
That is really touchy, and it depends how long we stay below freezing. I don't think it's going to be too many hours. I think if we hit 4 or 5 hours, that's going to be a concern there. It's going to be freezing right into the ground. But I do like the fact that we're getting the heaviest of the rain tonight before we start to really fall. So I do think the ground is going to absorb what it can. I mean, it's so dry, it takes a while. When it's that dry, it's harder for it to absorb. It's hard to explain that, but...
No, I think it makes a lot of sense, actually.
Okay, good.
All right, well, let's enjoy the warm temperature for a few more hours at least. What are the details here for our midweek forecast?
Yes, so today we are still going to be hitting highs into those mid to low 70s, pretty much where we are right now. A few degrees popping up through the afternoon, and then we start to fall. For tomorrow, we'll be a high of 54 degrees, but that's going to be earlier into the morning hours. We start to drop, like I mentioned, into the low 40s during trick-or-treating hours with those Those winds whipping. Expect it to feel more like the upper 30s to mid 30s while you're out there. And then overnight, we fall right to that freezing mark. And then we hang out into the 40s for the rest of the week and into the weekend. So some seasonal, more average temperatures ahead.
All righty. Well, not boring, I guess, this week. Not boring one bit.
Not at all. There's so much going on, from rain to warmth to snow to cold. It's everything.
All right, Brittany. Well, thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we'll catch you again tomorrow, Halloween morning.
Bye, Brittany.
Woohoo! Sounds good. Have a good day, guys.
That's our meteorologist, Brittney Merlot. Joins us every weekday morning at 8:21 with the latest weather. Right now in downtown Wausau, the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street, our WXCO studios. The temperature 68 degrees under cloudy skies. The winds are out of the south at 14 miles per hour, gusting as high as 21 miles per hour. The dew point is 55, relative humidity of 63%. The barometer is 29.77 inches and a visibility of 10 miles. Coming up next, it's an information update. We'll get the latest news, weather, and sports, and then we'll be back and we'll take a look inside my mailbox. I'm looking forward where my mailbox is not filled with a bunch of political flyers. But what are the candidates and their third-party allies telling us? We're going to find out coming up next. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
Well, you know you had it coming to you. Now there's not a lot I can do. Dreamer, a stupid little dreamer. So now you put your head in your hands, oh no. Woo! I said, what a day, a year, a
You're an organ donor, right? Well, here's a tragic fact. Approximately 20 people die each day waiting for precious donated organs. You could make a life-saving decision simply by getting that important dot on your driver's license. That little dot shows those who need to know that you've made a decision to donate organs at a critical time. Go to heroicdeed.com to learn more about the importance of organ donation and how you can make your wishes known. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. heroicdeed.com.
Wednesday from 6 till 8 p.m., it's another edition of the Big High School Sports Show presented by K5 Construction on 98.9 WXCO, online at BowFallsRadio.com, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. I'm Chad Holmes, joined former Wausau West head football coach Jason Foster and myself as we recap the Level 1 playoff action from last week and look ahead to Week 2. Plus, we have special guests. At 6:25, it's our coach guest as we're again joined by Merrill High School head football coach Jason Wadzinski. The Blue Jays gave Onalaska all they could handle last Friday before falling 13-8, but still had an outstanding 2024. Our student athlete guest at 7:06 will be Wausau East senior Jesse Napgezik. Napgezik had a monster game on Friday with 10 catches, 12 tackles, and a kickoff return for a touchdown as the Lumberjack season ended in a loss to Fox Valley Lutheran. The Big High School Sports Show presented by K5 Construction, Wednesday 6 till 8 p.m. on 98.9 WXCO.
You are terrified by the smallest sound, because you live your life in such a sheltered world, as do those that surround you.
Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM. Also, you can tune in on Alexa and mobile devices by searching WXCO. The Civic Media app as well. And if you haven't downloaded the Civic Media app, just go to your app store, search Civic Media, download. It is free. Then you have all 20 of the stations on the Civic Media radio network on it. Fifth one down is 98.9 WXCO, and then you'll be able to tune in wherever you may be. Also, a quick reminder that make sure that you tune in on election night. Wisconsin Decides 2024 special here on the Civic Media Radio Network and here on 98.9 WXCO. Civic Media's election night special coverage will begin at 6 p.m. on Tuesday. As the results roll in, Civic Media reporters and hosts will bring you the information you need to know. From the presidential race in Wisconsin to results down the ballot, Civic Media's election night special will have insight and analysis you won't find anywhere else. So join the team of Civic Media hosts, reporters, and guests on election night Tuesday, November 5th, beginning at 6 p.m. and throughout election night, probably going into the early morning hours of Wednesday. Should be, again, a very exciting, a very interesting, and a very important election night. And there's a special set being built down in Madison at Civic Media headquarters. A lot of folks being involved in that show, and you'll get really, really good information. So tune in Tuesday, November 5th, starting at 6 p.m. And also make sure that either on Election Day or in the run-up to Election Day, make sure you be a voter. In-person absentee voting, early voting began about a week ago across Wisconsin. You can learn more about your voting options. Go to myvote.wi.gov. That's myvote.wi.gov to find your early voting location. And tomorrow, Thursday, October 31st, is the deadline to request an absentee ballot to vote in Wisconsin. So make a plan to be a voter between now and Election Day, November 5th, for this fall's election. And also, don't forget, Wisconsin is a same-day registration state, meaning if you missed the deadline to register online or by mail, you can still register in person on Election Day with the proper identification. So bring your driver's license, your ID, on Election Day, and you can still register and vote in this very important election. And again, we are down to 6 days before election 2024, and I'm sure you, like I, go to your mailbox and you get lots of these political flyers, and I like to, once in a while, just grab them, bring them here to work, and take a look at what we're getting in the mailbox. And one thing that I've noticed, not just this year, but in recent years, most of the flyers are negative. There's not what you would call a lot of positive advertising when you go into your mailbox and take a look at these flyers. So I thought it's time to go into Chad's mailbox. It's time to share what I've been getting, and I'm sure many of you have been getting as well. So let's see what I grabbed in my mailbox today and brought here to the radio station to share with you. Well, the first thing here is... Well, who is this from? It's always nice to see who it's from because I think that's important to know where these folks are coming from. And normally, the names of these groups, the third-party groups, mean absolutely nothing. You really have to dig in order to find out who these groups are, really who these people are supporting. But the first one comes from Securing American Greatness Incorporated.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
What a wonderful name, I tell you. And it has a picture of Kamala Harris, hand to her chin, not the most photogenic picture of the vice president. The headline is Kamala Harris's soft on crime agenda. Radical, reckless, dangerous. And then it's just a bunch of talking points that are really not true. Defund the police. They are not looking to defund the police.
If anything, they're trying to re-educate the police.
Well, it says defund the police. Harris supports defunding our local police departments, a radical policy that takes cops off the streets and puts Wisconsin families in danger. Then let criminals walk free. And that's another oldie but goodie when it comes to the mega playbook. Harris backs a policy that would let dangerous criminals walk out of jail without paying bail. Communities in danger. Border czar Kamala Harris's policies put dangerous felons back on the street and allow convicted drug dealers to escape deportation. Her soft-on-crime agenda puts us all in danger. So,
there seems to be a title they like to use is Border czar Kamala. I hear that a lot on the TV ads.
Yep, they certainly try to put that right on her doorstep. Another piece of mail, this one from the Republican Party of Wisconsin. It's sort of a half and half. On half of it, it has a a picture of President Biden and the Vice President Kamala Harris hand in hand. And it says, Kamala Harris draining Americans' money. Talks about personal savings drained, taxes overflowing, inflation hurting families. America can't afford a Kamala Harris's financial mess. And then to add a nice little touch, they take a picture of George Washington that you see on the dollar bill, and they put George with a nice big frown. And then on the other side, President Donald Trump, prosperity for Americans. Low inflation, cut taxes, blah, 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 blah. You know, again, something that people need to realize is that inflation was not based on stimulus checks. It was not based on the economic policy of the United States government post-pandemic. Inflation was a worldwide issue because of the pandemic, the supply chain issues, and other issues beyond the control. The thing that the government was able to do is to try to mitigate the issues, to mitigate them in the best way possible. And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier with the gross domestic product numbers coming out today, and taking a look at the record of the United States economy compared to the other countries around the world, some of which have conservative governments. No other government, no other GDP, no other economic record has been as good as what we've seen from the Biden administration here in the United States of America. All right, we got here from Yee for Wisconsin. Let's see here. This is it's a comparison. It says, learn about the 85th District Wisconsin Assembly candidates. You got Yi Lang-zhong and Patrick Snyder. And I this one is similar to one we talked about previously, because I kind of chuckle at it, because it has Yi, born in Wausau, raised in Weston, proud graduate of the D.C. Everett Schools, and now serves on the local school board, leads a nonprofit, and served as Marathon County board member. And then below him, Patrick Snyder. And I chuckle because I worked with Pat. I actually sat across from Pat. I've heard Pat for many years, and this piece of mail says, former shock jock. Every time I hear shock jock, I think Howard Stern. And I'll say this, Patrick Snyder is not a shock jock in that realm, but I understand what this means, because it also says endorses right-wing conspiracy theories. Also talks about the economy, healthcare, and education. So it's a comparison. It's a sort of a mix between positive and negative. And also got another piece of mail from Yi, and this is a positive one. Again, this is, you don't see very much. And we had Yi Lang-zhong on like a week or two ago.
Multiple times.
And I've mentioned to him that one of the things about his campaign and his mailings is that compared to others, very positive, much more positive than most of the other candidates. And it says, in the state assembly, Yi Lang-zhong will work for us, leading with Wisconsin values, bringing down costs by supporting clean energy, protecting our drinking water, strengthening our democracy. Gives and then it has talked about his decade of experience on the county board, school board, village board, committed public servant, advocate for students and families in our region, working together to build Wisconsin's future. I mean, positive. I mean, there's nothing in this flyer that says anything about his opponent. It's strictly about what he would do, and
he's focusing on the issues, and that's what should matter.
Exactly. So I think it's nice to see. And again, I don't think it's terrible to have some comparison items as well, but if they're all negative, if they're all just slamming at your opponent, that's the wrong thing to do. Another Republican Party of Wisconsin flyer here. Again, one half has Trump Vance 2024, with Trump wearing his little red hat and on a stage dancing around. And then on the back, it has comparison between Trump and under Kamala, with mortgage rates, personal savings, credit card delinquency, real weekly wages. So again, Donald, you kind of left a broken economy after your botching of the COVID-19 pandemic back in his final year of office. We have another one from Securing American. I tell you, one thing I've noticed in recent weeks, when it comes to mailers, the third-party Republican folks have put a lot more in my box than anybody from the Democratic side. So, again, it's another
They certainly have.
another negative, soft-on-crime Kamala Harris thing from securing America's greatness. We have one here from the Democratic Party of Wisconsin as an in-kind to Ye for Wisconsin. This one is, you call a negative spot against Pat Snyder. It says, an X over Made in America. It says Patrick Snyder isn't looking out for us. He says killed a Buy American bill, tried to cut $1.4 billion from Wisconsin public schools, voted multiple times against tax cuts for middle-class families, and supports the 1849 abortion law. I would say compared to what we heard about Kamala in terms of the truth factor, much more truth in this, because those are all things that Patrick Snyder has supported or not supported as a member of the Wisconsin State Assembly. We have one from AVP Action. One side, Tammy Baldwin, too extreme for Wisconsin. The other side has Eric Hovde, a businessman who will get the job done. And like you said before, what colors are on Eric Hovde?
Green and gold.
Green and gold, trying to connect himself, I think, with the Packers. So AVP Action. And then finally, who's this one from? This one is from Wisconsin Leadership Committee. And this one's an anti-Pat Snyder spot. It says Pat Snyder thinks politicians like him should be involved in a woman's reproductive health care. No surprise, he voted to uphold a 175-year-old abortion ban that could jail doctors for medically necessary care, put a woman's life in danger when pregnancy goes wrong, and force victims of rape and incest to carry the pregnancies of their abusers. So, and then on the other side is a farmhouse and some elephants, Republican elephants. It says some things are out of place as politicians in your doctor's office as elephants by a farmhouse. All right, so that's a look at what's in my mailbox. My mailbox will be much more empty starting next week. Time is 8:49. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Thrives when it serves the community. WXCO is no different, and we're looking to add someone to our staff that is well connected around town. Someone who can help our local businesses increase traffic and their visibility among our audience. From connecting clients with high school sports, local news and weather, or the Chad Holmes Show. If you know local business owners, we'd like to get to know you. If you'd like to know more about this opportunity, send me, Chad Holmes, a message at chad.holmes@civicmedia.us. That's chad.holmes@civicmedia.us. And let's set up a time to talk.
I've got a pocket full of holes, head in the clouds, the king of fools. You've got a ribbon of rainbows, the sun in your eyes, running through. Could be I'm happy, I'm sad, could be I'm losing my head over you. Well, you gotta be crazy, baby, to want a guy like me.
Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Again, change the website address. So if you go to bullfallsradio.com, you'll still get redirected. But it's good for you to know that, again, WXCO.FM, not com. WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. The time is 8:53. Breezy. I'm seeing the wind kind of kicking up as I look out onto Washington Street here in downtown Wausau. Temperature very mild to start off, 68 degrees. Again, we will have the temperature continue to rise until late this morning. Then it will start to dip. It will continue to dip. And then tomorrow, by tonight actually, we will have rainfall. And actually later today, we have a chance for some rainfall. between 1/4 and 1/2 inch possible. Tonight, new rainfall amounts between 1 and 2 inches. And then Thursday, showers. Temperature will be up around 50 by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, then falling to around 41 by later in the afternoon. So if you're trick-or-treating tomorrow night, make sure you bundle the kids up. It's going to be a rather raw Halloween night here in central Wisconsin. Wanted one more thing, but before I kind of put the finishing touches on my little mailbox foray, one other thing I wanted to mention is if you've been listening here to WXCO the last few days, you've been hearing Tom Tiffany putting some advertisements on the air. Well, basically one that I've heard. And basically, it's all what Tom Tiffany does. He talks about, again, the border. He talks about somebody in one person in Prairie du Chien who happens to not be a legal resident right now, and then talks about another one in some other part of the state. He uses these two examples as, now we got to crack down. I mean, it has nothing to do with anything that's occurring with a person who lives in the 7th Congressional District. These two examples that he gives in this commercial, and I'm sure if you keep tuned in, you'll hear it during the course of the day. So the idea, again, take a listen on what these folks are talking about, whether the presidential candidates, whether the United States Senate candidates, whether candidates for the House of Representatives, whether a candidate for the state Senate or the state assembly or for city council or whatever it may be. What are they talking about? What are the priorities when it comes to what they want to do in office? And with Tom Tiffany, he never talks about anything that has anything to do with the people of the 7th Congressional District. All he talks about is mega stuff. The border, the border, the border. And a quick reminder that Republicans in the Congress had a chance to put together and be part of a major bipartisan bill to try to help the situation at the southern border. And very conservative members of Congress were part of this bipartisan group that came up with a plan that could pass. Very conservative members were part of this group. It was not a case where they were left out in the cold. They were part of the discussions. They came up with a deal both sides could live with. That would be an improvement. It would aid the border agents at the southern border. But Donald Trump told Republican leadership, do not pass it, because I want it to be an issue in this election. And guess what? It has been an issue in this election. People like Donald Trump and people like Tom Tiffany talk about it constantly because it's an issue that was made by Donald Trump and weak-willed Republicans who had an opportunity to actually get something done for the people of this country. People need to remember that because we don't hear that enough. While Donald Trump talks about this and while Tom Tiffany talks about this. They are the barriers to getting something done when it comes to border security, not Democrats, despite what Tom Tiffany wants to make you think. So again, I've heard that commercial a lot here on WXCO. Tune in, listen to it. Listen to what Tom is saying because Tom does the voiceover himself. I mean, it's frankly disgusting. It is so cynical. It's so dishonest. So, Tom Tiffany running against Kyle Kilborn, the Democratic nominee for the 7th Congressional District. Again, look at what these folks are talking about. Are they talking about issues that will make your life better or not? Tom Tiffany is not. Donald Trump is not. So, in the rundown, final 6 days, take a listen. What are they talking about? And will they make my life better, or are they just playing to the base?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I was watching Wheel of Fortune with my family last night, and there was a commercial break. It was 6 political ads in a row, one after the other, and they were all negative. All of them.
Not surprising one bit. The time is 8:58. We got another hour to come here on the program. In hour number 2, we'll be talking to national security expert Joel Rubin about the candidates and issues in the final days of the campaign. Coming up next, it's an information update. Get the latest news, weather, and sports nationally, statewide, locally. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
I don't need
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.